Welcome to Instruction Discussion, our weekly look at the latest topics and trends in education affecting schools here on Long Island and schools around the world. Whether you're a teacher, parent, or student, listen for tips and strategies to help you navigate the educational landscape. There's a bell. It's time to start today's Instruction Discussion on the voice of Nassau Community College, 90.3 WHPC.
Hello, I'm Kevin Boston Hill, and welcome to Instruction Discussion, where each week we will examine a recent trend or development in education and its impact on Long Island. We often tell our children that the first real adult decision that they will have to make is where they will go to college after high school. After all, this is a decision that will greatly influence the rest of their lives. While choosing a college is daunting enough, what about those students who really don't want to go to college? Or worse yet, what about those who just don't know what they want to do at all? How are we supposed to support them? How are they supposed to feel? After all, what they do immediately after high school will impact their lives for years to come. This question of how do we help guide our students into making the right decision for them is why our next guest is here today. Dr. Caviness is the director of Real Talk and Big Future at the College Board. Now, you may be thinking, what is Big Future? Simply put, it is a suite of tools that were developed by the College Board to help students plan for life after high school, whether it be college, career, or something else. Dr. Caviness, welcome to Instruction Discussion on 90.3 WHPC.
Kevin, thank you for having me. I'm so excited to be here with you and your listeners today. How are you doing, Kevin?
Like I said, I am doing just fine. We were able to start this year off right, and I think we're speaking with our students and getting them ready for their next phase in life is going to be an amazing thing. So thank you for being a part of this journey with us.
Absolutely. It is a new semester, new year. And Kevin, I'm excited because we actually have an extra day, right? It's a leap year.
That's
so
right.
2024 is
Let's make sure we use it in the right way. And I think, like I said, we're off on the right foot as it is right now. So
exactly.
Let's get it
right.
right.
We're on the same page.
Yeah, let's go ahead and get right into it. And let me ask you, what is Big Future anyway? I know because we all know of College Board as being this company that puts out the SAT and SAT prep materials and things of that nature. But so what is Big Future and how can it help our students?
Kevin, if you don't mind me indulging for a minute, because I think you and your listeners will appreciate
Sure.
hearing a little bit more about me. So I'm a proud daughter of an educator. My mom taught in the elementary school space for over 40 years. And I, of course, looked up to her and also went into education and higher ed myself. So over the past 10 years, Kevin, I've really had the amazing opportunity, and you know this as a professor, right? Our students, I always say, iron sharpens iron, right? Our students make us better. And so over the past 10 years, I've had the honor of working with thousands of brilliant high school and college students. And really working with students has taught me as they contemplate what is that right first step after high school. I've learned that no journey when it comes to students and how they think through this and process through this is identical, right? The journeys are all different. And because of that, sometimes this journey can be arduous and can be complicated and confusing. But this is where Big Future over at bigfuture.org truly steps in and helps communities and helps students and helps families demystify and simplify this process, right? We share with students how to explore careers, how to plan for college, and ultimately, because we talk a lot about money and how to secure the bag, how to pay for college. And we do this being backed by the College Board. And you mentioned the College Board earlier. The College Board, as we all know, has been a pioneer and a leader in the education arena since 1900.
So, as Tevin Campbell may say, can we talk for a minute about the program features? What are some of the features and resources that Big Future actually provides to our students, and how does that really help them to chart that path after high school?
All right. First of all, big shout out to you, Kevin, for that Tevin Campbell reference. Okay. All right. I have to say that because I'm from Texas, and Kevin, I believe, it was from Dallas or was born in the area. So big shout out to that 1993. Can we talk?
Hey, I do my research.
I hear, and I love it. All right, so you wanted me to share again. I got all distracted with Tevin Campbell and Can We Talk?
It happens. Hey, I'm a '90s R&B person myself, so I know what you're feeling right now. But just share with us for a moment what Big Future does, and I guess what are some of the resources involved with Big Future and how it can help students chart that path for themselves after high school.
All right. So thank you for sharing that question. And going back to your segue, we absolutely can talk for hopefully more than a minute on this. Let me share a few resources that I believe are just going to be game-changing for you and your listeners. So over at bigfuture.org, 3 resources that I just find phenomenal. The first one, our checklist, and we're going to talk about that more in a minute. The second one, our career quiz. Our third one, I spoke earlier about getting to the money, securing the bag, our Big Future scholarship. So the first one, I want to talk about the checklist. Mm-hmm. So if you have a student, and let's say you're contemplating, how do I know that my team is doing the right step at the right time in their high school journey as they prepare to take the right first step after high school? Head on over to bigfuture.org and you will find our college and career planning checklist. Right, Kevin, when you're thinking through that 9th grade, that 10th grade, that 11th grade, that 12th grade, they're all different steps that need to be happening in that process, right? So we're in the second semester. I know you're an educator, so you're probably like me, and you think about the years in terms of semesters, right? I'll go, oh, this was fall happened, or this was spring semester, right? So right now, if you have a 9th grader and we're in the spring semester, key steps that your 9th grader should be taking right now. They should take the career quiz. And I'll share more with that in a minute, Kevin.
So let me interrupt you really quick right here, because I'm sure we're going to have some students and some families listening in who are thinking, well, you're talking about starting in the 9th grade. Well, I'm an 11th grader, second semester 11th grader, or even the 12th grader about to leave. So am I behind the 8 ball now? Am I behind in this planning and preparation phase? Because if I was supposed to start this checklist in the 9th grade and now I'm almost ready to graduate, what do I do now?
Start where you are. So our checklist is available for 9th grade, 10th grade, 11th grade, and 12th grade. Start immediately where you are. And I always say this is where that student and where that caring adult are in the journey. So the first thing that I would think through, does a student have an idea of their career? Because we are seeing that career choices drive college and post-secondary choices. So I would start with that career quiz. That's where I would go. And I would look on our 12th grade checklist and go, okay, let's see. Have I visited any colleges? Right? Have I explored scholarship? Have I completed the FAFSA? Right? These are all things that are not too late and can be done right now. Like, we are really at the beginning of a semester. And we mentioned earlier, we do have that extra day in February, right? These are things that can be done right now on bigfuture.org. So no, it's not too late to contemplate what is that right first step to take after high school. Start right now, explore careers, and start thinking through the checklist of action items that student and their family can take. So no, not too late. And I can share the career quiz and give you some more insight. Is that okay, Kevin?
Oh, no, that's perfect.
All right, so let me share, right? Because you mentioned that, right? Someone is listening right now and they're saying, what if I miss some crucial steps? Well, our career quiz, you can take at any time during the journey. Our career quiz has been completed by over 1 million students, 60 questions, and literally takes about 10 minutes to complete, right? And this career quiz will show and identify different interests that your student may identify with as they think through exploring careers. So, Kevin, I actually took this career quiz.
That's interesting because I'm glad you said that, because I'm sure we have a lot of people who, may take a gap year after high school, or who may just not know what they want to do, and they may muddle around for a couple of years. So now we're talking they're 20, 22, 24 and still don't have a clue what it is they want to do. So is that career quiz available for students who may not be your quote unquote traditional age student? They may be older and may need some direction in their lives. Will this work for them as well?
Well, that's an amazing question. All right. So 2 things. When I shared about our checklist, right, remember that the checklist is a guide. It's not prescriptive. When it comes to a career quiz, and I've worked with, as a professor in a previous chapter, I've worked with amazing adult degree learners. Start where you are. If you have in mind that you want this degree and you have this particular career and you need to see where your interests are in alignment, this career quiz is perfect for you. There's not an age on this. All that we ask is for you to be open to options and explore options, right? We need options. And I just really say this to a listener, for one of your listeners, Kevin. If you're 23, if you're 35, 55, 65, 80, any age, right? Take the career quiz if you're trying to figure out which ideas for employment and for careers are in alignment with how you envision your big future, right? We can have a big future at any age, right? It's not dependent on a grade level or a classification. So this career quiz is for all ages.
That's interesting to note, and I'm sure our listeners will appreciate this, that is not just for high school, for 9th to 12th grade, or for college. Maybe even some of our middle schoolers may want to get a jump start on what it is that they want to and perhaps pursue as a career as well. And if they take it in middle school, 7th and 8th grade, now they can enter high school with already that plan in place, so they'll know what to do and what direction it's going to take them into as they prepare for life after high school.
I like how you think, Kevin, because we know that our interests evolve over time, right? So you have your 8th grader take our career quiz and then come back 6 months to a year later, right? And they're thinking about the career, right? It really shows where their interests are, and it shows interest of what we can develop and strengthen over the summer. And it also shows, and I think this is funny, because when I took the career quiz, what it shared with me was that my interests were in radio and television broadcasting, education, and dance choreography, all which I love and which have evolved over time. So yes, this is a wonderful start to really think through options and really think through careers and how to explore careers. So yes, I would say explore careers. And then the third, you asked for another tip, and I don't want to forget this, because once we start figuring out our career and figuring out which institution is in alignment with our career goals, I don't want listeners to miss out on learning about our Big Future scholarships, Kevin. And our Big Future scholarships, so over at Big Future, we reward action, right? Because you can have all the information in the world, but if you don't actually take action, it just kind of, I can't remember, is it kinetic versus potential, right? It's this potential power that's just kind of sitting there.
Yep, potential energy just sits there, exactly.
Thank you. All right, I know I have a professor on the line, so thank you. So this potential energy is just sitting there, but we need you to mobilize and move, okay? So over at bigfuture.org, we really reward action, okay? So when students go over to bigfuture.org and they plan for the future, such as starting their career list, building their college list, or completing the FAFSA, we reward students by entering them in a drawing to win one of our Big Future $40,500 scholarships. And let me just say that again, Big Future $40,500 scholarships. Kevin, we give away monthly 2 Big Future $40,000 scholarships and hundreds of $500 scholarships.
You are listening to Instruction Discussion on the voice of Nassau Community College, 90.3 WHPC. My name is Kevin Boston Hill, and our guest today is Dr. Autumn Caviness, Director of Real Talk and Big Future at the College Board. Those are some really, really big numbers that we're talking about here. I mean, $40,000 goes, when you're talking about a college education and the cost that it is, whether it's tuition, room and board, books and fees, and everything else that's associated with the cost of attendance, that $40,000 will put a nice little dent in that expense. Even though the $500, it sounds like it's a little amount, but again, you have books, you have lab fees that I'm sure that money will be able to cover. And so every little bit does count. Now, are those that, especially the 40,000, is that a one-time issuance, or is that something that students can kind of renew as they go throughout their college experience?
Right. It is something that over the college experience they would receive in terms of reaching that $40,000.
Okay, so it's like $10,000 a year or so. Okay,
they can receive it semester by semester. But what I find amazing about this is that we've awarded over $18 million in scholarship money to over 21,000 students across the country. This is so crucial because a lot of times when you're trying to figure out how to pay for college, you're having to apply for things that have GPA requirements, essay requirements. There is none of that when it comes to our Big Future scholarship drawing. We reward you by taking action on bigfuture.org. The minimum GPA doesn't come into the equation. Your career interest doesn't necessarily come into the equation. We reward you thinking through, and to me, it's just the biggest. Really, honestly, with you, Kevin, it's just one of the most amazing things because we are saying that your future is so big that by just taking those steps and figuring out and contemplating your future, we're going to reward you because we believe that much in your future. So this is something that's open to students, and I highly recommend that your listeners head on over to bigfuture.org and learn more about the actions that their high school students can take to enter and be a part of our Big Future $40,500 scholarship selection.
So just to kind of recap a little bit, if they go to bigfuture.org, and then they'll see this kind of three-pronged approach to lining up there and developing a plan for their future. We'll start with the career quiz that they can take at any time, at any age level. Then they can move on to the college quiz to find out what colleges they may be a perfect match for. And then now you select your college, you got to pay for it. So then you go to the scholarship quiz and you get the information you need to secure those scholarships and that the extra money that you'll need to pay for college. And of course, while you're doing all of this, you're automatically entered into I guess is a sweepstakes or a drawing that you have the opportunity to be given or awarded one of those $40,000 awards, or at the very least a $500 award. Did I get that? Did I cover that just about right, or did I miss something?
You're such a professor, so you are on it. So one thing too, and a couple of things. I adore working with professors. You're on it, Kevin. All right, with the scholarship money, that can be used for different programs, not only for your institution. So it's important to say that. And students truly get to decide how best to use the money to meet their educational needs. So that is just exceptional. You rarely see that when it comes to scholarship offerings, and that is there for Big Future scholarship recipients. So when you mentioned the career quiz is a great way to explore careers and figure out what is an alignment with students and their right first step after high school, right? And then I think with the career quiz, it allows you to actually jump into a specific career. So it doesn't just tell you about that career, but it also provides the median salary and key information about that career. So you really can get insight as to, is this career in alignment with my goals and how I envision my future, right? So we say, you know what, Autumn, if you're going to go into journalism, you may need that bachelor's degree, and you may need it in this particular, right? And then we also have college search. And in our college search, you can search for various 4-year, 2-year, and certificate programs. You can even, on our college search and filter by HBCUs, historically Black colleges and universities. And so it gives you even greater understanding into, is that institution, is that particular college in alignment with your big future and your goals.
And I think that last point you made is really important to note, that you can search for those historically Black colleges and universities, and a lot of them are on par with any of the other the big name schools that we know of, whether they're Ivy League schools or that second tier of school. And I mean, I think a lot of them are considered like the Ivy Leagues of the HBCU industry. And so I think it's where some place you can go to get that, not only a very high level education, but in a nurturing environment. And I think with today's student, that's what they're really looking for, being able to get the high level of education, but also to kind of be guided along the way and to be supported along the way, so that they're not going into one of the traditional big institutions where they're kind of just a social security number. Now, at least at the HBCU, like all the professors know all their students by name. And whether you have them or not, is like professors talk to each other about particular students. So everyone in the department is going to know who's coming through that department, who's coming through that major, and they all look out for each other.
You know, Kevin, that's wonderfully stated, right? We even have over at Big Future, you mentioned earlier that I'm the director of Real Talk. So we have 2 amazing event platforms that connect students and caring adults directly to industry and career leaders, right? We have virtual events, and we have this through our Big Future Live and our Real Talk. Last year, we had over 200,000 student and caring adults register for our Big Future Live and Real Talk events. And for our Real Talk, and this may be of interest to you and your wonderful, wonderful listeners, we actually covered topics on HBCUs and PWIs. So on Real Talk, our first Real Talk for the fall, we did HBCUs, PWIs, which are predominantly white institutions, and you. And we actually brought in the president of Bowie State, one of the senior administrators from Emory, senior administrator and director of undergraduate studies at UT. And we had an open, candid conversation for students and caring adults as to, where should your student go? You know, what's the best fit? And then we came back the following week, Kevin, and we did the real tea on HBCUs and PWIs, right? Because administrators can be bumped up a little bit, right? So then we brought in an all-student panel, and we brought in students from Howard, the student body president of Duke. We had North Carolina A&T was in the building. We had students give the real tea on what it is to attend an HBCU and a PWI, and what is that experience like. And we answered students' questions in real time, right? So all of this can be found over at bigfuture.org. Opportunities to really dig and learn more about HBCUs, learn more about educational institutions across the country, as well as figuring out how to explore for careers, plan for college, and ultimately pay for college.
Well, it seems like that there's a wealth of information that students can receive if they go to bigfuture.org and just see exactly what's there, and as they're starting to plan their futures, their big future. Since the information is there, what languages is it offered in languages other than English? Because I'm sure there'll be we have a very high Latino population. We have people coming from all parts of the world, and they all have the same concerns about going to college and of course, how they going to cover all those bills that they're going to accumulate. I hope you saw what I did there. And so is it going to be offered in other languages that they can research this information as well?
All right. So although my grandmother lived and resided in Newark all her life, I'm a Texas girl. And Kevin, I did see what you did right there. You gave me bills, bills, bills. What is Destiny's Child for 100? So yes, I would say when it comes to kind of thinking through all the needs that are available on Big Future, you will find that we have our checklist, and I speak and have to share about our checklist because it really gives insight as to some of the steps that you can be doing right now with your student as they get ready for that next first step after high school. And that checklist is actually available both in English and in Spanish. So comprehensive, but available to ensure that students from all across the country and parents and caring adults from all across the country are able to connect with their student and let their student know, here's some ideas of how we can work through 9th through 10th through 11th and 12th grade. And Kevin, did I get your reference right? Am I right on that?
No, you're absolutely right. You're absolutely right on that. But I'm going to move away from the Texas area for a moment and move into the Philly area. And when I say that, although we've come to the end of the road, I want to ask you, what would you say, or Liz, what would be your final thought on the importance of preparing for life after high school?
Ooh, we've come to the end of the road. So that would be Boys to Men. And I'm going to say with your Philly references, Jilly from Philly, I would say take a long walk around bigfuture.org. So really, really take a long look at bigfuture.org because this is free for our communities as we really contemplate and think through how to explore careers, how to plan for college, how to pay for college. I can't say this enough. Really own and lean into your big future. And it's never too late to lean into your big future for your listeners who perhaps are over 25 or over 30. It's never too late to lean in. And if you have a student and you're a caring adult or a grandparent who's listening and you see that curiosity, spark your students' curiosity by encouraging them to complete our career quiz and have that conversation about their big future. It really is out there for them, and we are here to help students take that right first step after high school.
Amazing, amazing. Well, we would certainly like to thank our guest today, Dr. Autumn Caviness, Director of Real Talk and Big Future at the College Board and 90s R&B aficionado, for coming on to our show today.
Kevin Boston Hill, it has been an absolute honor connecting with you and your listeners. Please head on over to bigfuture.org because at Big Future, you can own your future your way. Thank you so much for having me today.
Once again, my name is Kevin Boston Hill, and thank you all for listening to Instruction Discussion right here on the voice of Nassau Community College, 90.3 WHPC.